1 week after our premiere, some people, far fewer people than I'd hoped for, but some people have been asking a very simple and legitimate question. What is yelling? I appreciate your simple question. I wish I had a simple answer. Real talk, to quote Common, opportunity knocked, but he ain't called for he came. I knew I'd get to be a producer on a show 6 weeks before Bobby Bonilla Day. We had a name for it about a month in advance. I knew how I wanted all the graphics to look about 2 weeks prior, and I had my first segment plotted and figured out 3 days before we went on the air. I've been producing stuff for a while, so doing things like this makes me really uncomfortable. Telling you all of this makes me really uncomfortable. But also, technically, our boss is an honest-to-God hand puppet, so this is all very weird, new, and uncomfortable territory for me. Long story short, I don't know who this show is for. I don't know what this show is. All I can tell you is who this show isn't for. For example, if you think NBA super teams are ruining basketball, but you listen to supergroups and music all the time and you don't see an inconsistency with that, just go away. If you think that tuition for non-transferable college credits is adequate pay for NCAA athletes, I don't know why you're still here after last week, but you probably don't belong. If you think that NBA defenses were tougher in the last 20 years of the 20th century versus the first 20 years of the 21st century, I can either tell you all about the illegal defense rules of the 80s and 90s, or I can just tell you that you're not going to have a good time here. If you don't think that the random ass nature of interim title bouts in the UFC doesn't delegitimize their entire operation, there are plenty of other YouTube channels, media properties, blogs, and TV shows that you could be engaging with rather than this one, but I'm not allowed to mention any of them. If you're a man with lots of opinions on women's sports, but you don't watch women's sports, delete your socials. Then stop watching. If any of those opinions on women's sports are related to trans women and you believe that you're trying to protect the integrity of women's sports, retire from the internet. Actually, speaking of competition, if you think Team USA's best hope at 100-meter gold in the 21st century deserves to sit out the entire Olympics, but Trevor Bauer should ever so much as look at a clear sunny day as a free man, let alone touch a baseball, we don't want you here. Actually, let me double down on the Olympics thing real quick. If you only started caring about water rules and Olympic integrity with Sha'Carri Richardson, but you never questioned why Russian athletes are still competing despite a deliberate cheating conspiracy by their entire national sports infrastructure, click off this video and finish your getter registration. Listen, I get it. This all sounds defensive. Let me put your mind at ease. It is defensive. We're defensive about sports here. I, personally, am defensive about enjoying sports, and I'm defensive specifically against sports media. Why? Because sports media is an industry that, behind the scenes, believes you will watch more if you enjoy the talking head product less. It's an environment built on the foundation of people who can't bench the bar, criticizing athletes who dedicated their entire existences to their crafts since they were prepubescent. Sports media is an ecosystem wherein the daughter-in-law of Mike Nichols and Diane Sawyer somehow felt comfortable enough to call Maria Taylor a diversity pick while laughing with LeBron's spokesman about Black Lives Matter exhaustion. Because a woman who already has her own television show can't share airtime. A television show, by the way, that has questioned whether or not various players were good teammates at least once per month on average for the last 3 seasons. It's an ecosystem where ESPN won't even suspend Rachel Nichols from the air for bitching about losing a few molecules of her privilege. Because that's the sports media ecosystem. Some people get to run it, the rest of us just get to run around in it. But not here. Not yelling. At least, not until the puppet fires me.